Dobar dan i dobrodošli na drugu online radionicu Tutorial regionalnog challenge fonda za Zapadni Balkan, inicijativu za regionalni challenge fond dalo je Nemačko savezno ministarstvo za ekonomsku saradnju i razvoj. Sredstva su delegirana Nemačkoj razvojnoj banci, a glavni implementacioni partner je Komorski investicioni forum Zapadnog Balkana. U menadžmentu regionalnog challenge fonda pomaže jedinica za upravljanje fondom, čiji smo predstavnici danas ja i moje kolege, gospodin Frieder Werman i gospodin Pavel Kapsdorfer, i mi ćemo se danas potruditi da vam pomognemo da uspešno prođemo zajedno kroz proceduru za prijavljivanje za podršku bespovratna sredstva regionalnog challenge fonda. Pre nego što nastavimo, ja ću dati reč koleginicama iz tehničke podrške da nas još jednom podsete šta sve to treba da imamo u vidu kako bi nam ovaj današnji webinar bio što prijatnije iskustvo. Izvolite.
Hvala Jelena. Dobar dan i dobrodošli na drugi tutorial sesiju za pitanja i odgovore regionalnog challenge fonda u Crnoj Gori. Prije početka webinara kratko ćemo se osvrnuti na tehničke tačke. Dragi učesnici, na današnjem webinaru dostupan je simultani prevod na lokalni jezik. Kako biste aktivirali opciju interpretacije u Zoom traci sa alatkama u donjem dijelu vašeg ekrana, pronađite ikonicu interpretacija. Kliknite na datu ikonicu i odaberite opciju Montenegrin. Podrazumijevana opcija prevoda jeste da čujete 80% prevoda i 20% originalnog zvuka. Ukoliko u potpunosti želite da eliminišete originalni zvuk i čujete samo prevod, klikom na ikonicu interpretacija odaberite opciju Mute Original Audio. Dakle, zvuk na engleskom jeziku možete isključiti opcijom Mute Original Audio. Preporučeno je da koristite Zoom desktop aplikaciju. Tokom webinara vaši mikrofoni su prigušeni, a vaša pitanja u vezi sa aktualnim konkursom RCF-a na lokalnom ili engleskom jeziku možete postaviti putem Q&A opcije koja se nalazi u Zoom traci sa alatkama. Preporuka je da vaša pitanja postavite nakon izlaganja panelista. Pitanja učesnika će biti odgovorena tokom sesije pitanja i odgovori usmeno ili pismeno od strane panelista, a ukoliko u toku sesije odaberete opciju Raise Hand, daćete signal moderatoru da želite da postavite pitanje usmeno u programu uživo. Moderator će vas pozvati da se uključite u program uživo i da postavite vaše pitanje. Prije uključivanja u program uživo, molimo vas da provjerite da li je audio sistem podešen tako da možete koristiti mikrofon na vašem uređaju. To možete uraditi klikom na strelicu pokraj ikonice mikrofona u lijevom donjem dijelu ekrana i izaberete opciju Test Speaker and Microphone. Tehničku podršku, kao i druge učesnike, možete kontaktirati odabirom opcije Chat, koja se nalazi također u Zoom traci sa alatkama. Putem ove opcije možete razmjenjivati komentare sa ostalim učesnicima. Prilikom korištenja iste možete komunicirati sa određenom osobom ili sa svim panelistima i učesnicima ukoliko odaberete To All Panelists and Attendees opciju koja se nalazi u chat sobi. Hvala.
Hvala na još jednom podsjećanju oko tehničkih pravila. Čuli ste da će biti prostora za interakciju. Današnji webinar je nešto drugačije ukoliko ste od infosesije, ukoliko ste ih pohađali. Imamo ograničen broj učesnika, želimo da odgovorimo na sva vaša pitanja adekvatno i da omogućimo interakciju. Najpre ćemo čuti kolegu Pavola koji će nam predstaviti formular izjave o zainteresovanosti, onako kako stoji na našem online grant management sistemu na koji ste imali prilike da se prijavite i dobijete referentni broj, započnete izradu aplikacije. Vidjeli ste da se aplikacija sastoji od nekoliko odeljaka, sekcija i Pavel će nam predstaviti odeljak po odeljak i nakon svakog odeljka daće priliku da postavite pitanja. Možda najjednostavnije da podignete ruku pa da vas čujemo, ako vam je lakše možete i ukucati u Q&A. i eto, možda možete da i prateći prezentaciju ili prateći formular na vašem jeziku vidite koje su sva ta polja i iskoristite priliku da razjasnite nedoumice oko toga kako odgovoriti na neko pitanje, koju opciju odabrati i tako dalje. Znači, prvo ćemo se baviti izjavom o zainteresovanosti, sekcijama, odeljcima, pitanjima. Nakon što završimo sa prezentacijom gospodina Pavela, preći ćemo na instrukcije vezane za proračune oko budžeta projekta, tako da u tom drugom delu će biti prostora za ona pitanja vezana za finansijsko učešće, kako obračunati budžet, koji su troškovi prihvatljivi, koji nisu. Eto, da imate i vi u vidu kako će teći program i da onda tako i rasporedite svoju pažnju i svoja pitanja. Sada ću dati reč Pavelu, on će svoje izlaganje imati na engleskom jeziku, tako da vas pozivam da aktivirate opciju prevoda na crnogorski ukoliko vam je naravno potrebna. Koleginice su već objasnile, imate u traci sa alatkama ovaj globus, interpretation, kliknete i odaberete Montenegrin, možete i da mutirate originalni zvuk kako biste bolje čuli. Eto, Pavel, izvoli.
Thank you, Jelena. Good morning, everybody. I will try to guide you through our expression of interest form. So when you are completing your application, you know how to go about it and what to take care of. So at the beginning, I would like to show you the screen with the registration. So all of you who were already registering yourself, and for the registering for this particular tutorial session, you were asked to provide the reference number of your project. So therefore, you are all already behind this point. But anyway, if any enterprises are participating at these sessions, after they receive the link to join your project, they will be directed to this screen where they need to register. And as you will see on many places within the application, you will see this red asterisk, which means these are the mandatory fields which you need to complete in order to be able to submit your application. So after you register and log in to the portal, you will have on the left-hand side this little dashboard with different items. Most important for you is the item My Applications, where you can see first at the beginning the button to open and to start your application. And then when you return to the system, you will see the button Resume, which means you will be able to reopen your application and work on it until you submit it. When you click on Resume, you will open the summary page. So this is the initial page in the application. And here, I just want to emphasize that this number here is the reference number of your application by which you will be registered in our system on our list. And at the top of each page you open in the system, you will see some text, which is important to read through because that represents guiding notes or instructions you need to follow when you are completing the fields below. On the summary page, at the bottom part, you will find this table with 9 sections where you will see the status of each section. And also here I want to say that it's not necessary to complete sections by order, but you can complete the information in any section you have information available. The same goes for the completion of each section, so you don't need to complete fully each section. You can do that partially and save the work in progress. You will also see that on the status of each section, like here we have status in progress. That means some information have been already inserted, but it's not complete. Once it is completed, it will turn to green and says complete. So when you select or when you click on these buttons on the right side, you can either start or edit, continue to edit the information which you have in each section. Continue on the summary page. Okay, let me stay for a while here. At the top of this table, you see these two application and participant tags. So application will always give you the list of 9 sections, while participants will switch the table into different look. And here you see that. So when you click on participant, it opens up again at the top with the on the text where you will read the instructions, what you need to do, because this is the part where you will need to invite the partner enterprises which are partner in that consortium and which will need to approve the application before you as a leading partner VTI will be able to submit the application to RCF. So when at the beginning you will need to click on button invite, and then you open up little screen where you will need to fulfill complete fields with the name and email address of your partner enterprise, and you can enter the personal message here inviting the enterprise, inviting your partner to join the project. And then you send the invitation. So you click on this button and the system will automatically generate and send the email to the address which you will specify here. In the email, your partner enterprise receive your personal message plus additional information with instructions and the link how to access the system, how to access your application. And when they follow that, they will get to the first screen, which I showed at the beginning, where they need to register and log in to the system. Once their information will be completed, you will see here in this screen that their information is completed. And the last part on summary page, which I want to show, is that when the enterprises will log in, they will have access to your application, and they will have a different screen here because they will be able to edit, as you see here, only section 3 and section 4, which is related to enterprises. The other sections will have just possibility to view the information, but they will be not able to edit, modify it. This is especially important not to upset the information, to change the information which you already inserted. Our recommendation, and that how it is also described in this guiding notes in the instruction, is that leading VTI should complete the full application, including the information about the enterprises. And only once all this information are in the application, that will be the moment when you are going to invite the enterprises to review it. When they log in, they will still be able to edit, as it is mentioned here, but they will not be able, let's say, we would like to avoid the situation that they should edit because we wouldn't like that they change something which wouldn't be desired. So therefore, we recommend that the leading VTI will complete the full application and then they will just review it. I will come back when we go through section 3. What is this major step for enterprises once they review all the information in the application. Here I would like to pause because then we move on to section 1 if there are any questions regarding the summary page. And as Yelena mentioned, please raise your hands and then she will ask you to unmute and ask your question.
Ja, koliko vidim, za sada nema podignutih ruka, niti pitanja koje se odnose na ovu sekciju, tako da pretpostavljam da su naši slušalci razumeli kako izgleda početni deo logovanja na sistem i ta kolaboracija između škola, odnosno obrazovnih ustanova i kompanija kroz grant management sistem. Da li neko možda ima neko pitanje sada? Ako ne, nastavljamo dalje. Let's move on, Pavel.
Okay, thank you. So in section 1, this is a section which covers eligibility criteria. So here we have series of questions and statements which you need to respond to. And here I just wanted to highlight that in case your answer is not complying with eligibility criteria, then the system will give you automated message to inform you about non-compliance. And until you will be complying with all eligibility criteria, you won't be able to submit your application. The system works similarly also in other sections. So if you miss to complete any field which is marked with the red asterisk, then you would attempt to leave the section prior to completing all the fields which are marked with red asterisks, the system will give you automated message on the screen that particular fields haven't been completed and you won't be able to submit the application until you finish these fields too. Any questions regarding the eligibility criteria?
Ima li nekih pitanja ovde? Evo vidimo da su problemi sa slušanjem rešeni. Hvala našoj tehničkoj podršci. Možemo, let's move on. There are no questions at the moment.
All right. So then we move on to section 2, which is about information regarding vocational educational institute. And here I would like to stop at and explain about the top of each page. You will see the status of the completion of your application. Then you will see also these buttons, which allows you to move backwards to previous page or previous section, next page, next section. Also return to summary page with the list of all 9 sections, so you can view the situation of all 9 sections, and then you can also save in progress information. And in the top of the page, you see the lead applicant contact details. So you will see this little table with your information, which you need to finalize here by clicking on edit. And in the edit, you will open up the table with fields regarding the contact details. And what I would like to highlight here, that the last position is selecting of the country. And unfortunately, the system is not marking this field, this box with the red asterisk. So we would like you to pay attention and please complete your country you come from to make sure that we can register the country properly. Once the enterprises will join the system, once you invite them and they will join the system, you will also see that this little table will get expanded with the enterprise names, contacts, and also they will be able to edit their information the same way as the VTI. Next to this very basic contact information, we have also several other items which you need to complete, like type of VTI, ownership of the VTI, specialization of the VTI, which all of that you will select from the drop-down menu which is available. in case your specialization is not completely on the drop-down list, please select the most closest one, and then please explain about the right one in the short profile of VTI. We are asking here about the staff numbers, teachers numbers, students numbers, current number of students, and also number of students enrolled in past 3 years to have an idea about the size of the VTI and your activity. Then another item is grants and other aids received in the past 3 years. So this is again briefly to list all relevant enterprise partners which you had the opportunity to cooperate with. Then experience from the cooperation with enterprises. So here again, we would like to see, what are your past experiences. Liability towards credit bureau, tax and employment authorities. Here we would like to explain that this is only in case you would have any overdue payments. So any payments which you miss to pay, not the regular duties which you have to authorities. Before I move on to section 3, do you have any questions here?
Evo još jedan poziv da postavite pitanja ako imate. Ovde ste videli šta se sve zahteva od informacija, brojevi studenata, brojevi nastavnog osoblja. Dobijamo dosta pitanja na mail vezano za instrukcije o tome kako popuniti ove sekcije, pa eto ako sada imate neku nejasnoću, možemo da zastanemo da pojasnimo. Gledam, nema ničega. I guess it's clear. We can move on.
All right. So in section 3, it is information about vet consortium enterprises. And here next to contact details, we are asking to complete the fields with the main characteristics. So again, some items where you need to select from the drop-down menu, legal form. Then we have a one-liner, activity, economic sector, again, drop-down menu, size of enterprises to select, so small, medium, or large. Then information about the staff, total number, managerial staff, and technical staff. Technical staff is basically the difference between the total and managerial staff. It is all the workers, all the support staff, which is employed by the enterprise. Then we are asking about any certificates or qualification which you or your staff have been awarded. So here you could enter, for example, quality standards certificates or information about some training licenses which you have. Then we are asking the brief information about the enterprise. So the same way as we do ask about VTI, we want to know also brief information about the activity of the enterprise, your business activities, your position on the market, available resources, what are your training needs, the past cooperation with VTIs, and planned contribution to the consortium. So all of that is mentioned as a guiding note for you in the system. Then the same question as with VTI, so liability towards credit bureau, tax, employment authorities. Again, here we are asking only about the overdue payments. So not the regular duties, but only any payments, any duties which are delayed for any reason. And obviously, if you have any, we are asking, there is a space to explain why is that and when it's going to be corrected. And the last item is end year result in the year preceding submission. So here we are asking whether the enterprise achieved profit or loss in the year preceding the submission. We all understand that the situation has been difficult last year due to COVID, but we still want to know whether the enterprise is able and sustainable in the long term, in the long run, to participate on the project and have work-based practical training. Therefore, if you had a loss last year, in the comment box, we would like to see your explanation. How did you cope? What were your results prior the COVID year? And we expect that these are solid or has at least a positive trend to show your sustainable position. In this section, you will find the fields for 3 enterprises, but only 2 of them are mandatory as stated in our eligibility criteria. Before we go to questions, I still want to finish in section 3 one important element, and that is once the enterprises are invited, information are completed, and the enterprise enters the application and review all the information. Here in these guiding notes at the top of the page, they should read and agree with the following declaration, and afterwards they confirm their participation with the button Finish Contribution. So this button will be seen by the enterprises as soon as the information are completed and all the enterprises are invited to review the application. When they click this button, that will be the moment when all the enterprises, all partner enterprises click on this button Finish Contribution. That will be the moment when the leading VTI will be able to submit the application to RCF. Do we have any questions regarding section 3?
I think we are so clear that there is no need to ask any questions. Još jednom poziv, postavite pitanje, nadam se da nas pažljivo pratite odeljak po odeljak i najzgodnije je da razradimo neku temu kad smo već tu, ali naravno možete postaviti i kasnije. Imate opciju Raise Hand, to je ova žuta ruka u traci sa alatkama, ili Q&A. Okay, let's move on.
It seems there are none, so let's move on to section 4. So section 4 represents the opportunity to invite additional enterprises. So in case in your project, you will sign a memorandum of understanding with more than 3 enterprises, then this gives you the opportunity to open the fields for additional enterprises. And if you click yes here, then you will see the fields for enterprises number 4 up to number 10. So this is maximum which the system is able to include. So all the fields will be exactly the same fields as you will see for enterprises number 1 to number 3. And obviously, all those enterprises which will be participating need to complete the information, be invited, and click the button Finish Contribution, approving their participation on the project. Prior, the leading VTI will be able to submit the application to RCF. Okay, so next section. Section 5 is about cooperative training program, which is subject of the application. So here we have a couple of questions or fields again, which are related to the cooperative training program. We are asking whether this is new or existing program, and about the title. In case there are more of these programs, please also explain here in this box whether you have more training programs which you are applying for. There might be a situation where you are applying with more training programs, especially if they are interrelated and they utilize the same capacities, same premises, same equipment, technologies. So in that case, we would see as justified that you would be able to apply with more training programs. The same goes for the certification or accreditation of the training program. So here again in comments box, if there are more of them, because the question is related to just one. If there are more of them, please comment on those, on the others, on the comments box. Then we are asking about the sector of the training program, and we follow with the type of training program, whether this is a short term or long term. The short terms are the ones which are organized, for example, for requalification or adult learning, adult continuing education. So this would usually last less than 12 months, while the long term are usually the regular training programs within the vocational schools or academies, high schools, and universities.
We have one question now, Pavel.
Yes.
Where to enter the details about external partner, for instance, municipality? Shall we enter details on page 4, additional companies, or somewhere else? I would say not additional company as external.
Yeah, I understand. We have in the further section, which is about the funding, we have that position where we are explaining about the external partner participation. Yeah. So that is the position where it's possible to say the same. I would say there will be or there is already in section about the VTI. Yeah, when they say about their experience with enterprises, if that is enterprise, they can mention it there as a cooperation as well. And otherwise, in the comments box in different sections where they feel they could provide information about the external partners, that's also possible.
So there is no.
But I think the main box where it comes relevant about the external partner is the box on the funding, which we will explain later on.
Okay, and in case external partner does not provide any funding, it's just there to support some activities, then they mention it in the comment boxes, right?
Yes, or they can, as I say, mention that also within the information on VTI section 2, where they have any experience from cooperation with enterprises, or in the comment box there, or even within the short profile of VTI, they can say that they cooperate with these particular external parties.
Okay, thank you. I hope this clarifies now for Ms. Markovic. I don't see any other questions, so we can move on.
Mm-hmm. So in section 5, we continue that there are some further items which are asking about the duration of the training programs. So for short-term program in months, in long-term in academic years, and then about the number of training places which are in the first year and second year. The second year is relevant for long-term courses, and for the short-term courses, again, is relevant the item number of repeated parallel training programs. So in case you have several short-term courses, then we are asking how many of them you are planning or you do during the year. Then asking about the starting date. So this is the date which already originates in the past, if the program has been started for the existing one, or if the new one, that there will be a planned date for the new program. Then learning places which are offered by enterprises. So these are basically these are a field. Here we have a fields for 3 enterprises. But if you have more than 3 enterprises which do offer training places, then we would like you to comment on that in the last additional comments box. And trainees employed. Here we would like you to insert the anticipated or expected number of trainees to be employed after completion of the cooperative training program. Here again, we receive some questions whether it's a duty. No, it's not a duty of the enterprises to employ, but we would like to see if the enterprises have the capacity, have the interest, have the, let's say, willingness to employ the trainees after they finish, after they complete the cooperative training program. Then here, previous experience with cooperative training, we would like to see if you have any experiences, both VTI and enterprises, with the cooperative training form of education, of training. Then the rationale of cooperation. So here we would like to state at least 3 benefits which you see in the cooperation between the consortium partners, so VTI and enterprises. And the last item here is resilience to situations like COVID-19. So we would like to see if your suggested cooperative training program contribute to the improvement of the resilience of VTIs and enterprises, considering the situation like COVID or any other situations which might limit your ability to continue with regular education training and also work-based practical training. That would be it about section 5. Do we have any questions here?
Da li ima pitanje u vezi odeljka 5 i ovih informacija? I guess it is clear. I think we can move on.
So then we move on to section 6 about the current status of cooperative training capacities. So here we are asking about the vocational training institute, training coordinator, and the facilities, availability of facilities, whether they are fully available, partially or no. The same for equipment, tools, machinery, teaching materials, teachers' needs for the training, and then support for the operational and maintenance budget by the authorities, which is basically reflected by the letter of support, which we are asking to attach later on. And then you have a space also for additional comments. These answers already indicate your needs for the investment, for the funding. For the enterprises, again, here we have a field for 3 enterprises. We are asking about the cooperative training coordinator and in-company trainer or instructor. And many times it could be also the same person. So we do not require that each enterprise has both positions, but it could be the situation that it is the same person, depending on the size of enterprise. It could be also that the situation that there are more enterprises involved and there will be this position created only in some enterprise or not in all. But that very much depends on the ability to coordinate and basically manage the work-based practical training by that person within the other enterprise as well. Any questions here?
Da li možda ima pitanja vezano za ovu sekciju?
Seems not. So let's move further. Section 7 is about subject of grant financing. So here at the beginning, we would like you to briefly describe about the estimated project funding needs and the subjects you would like to support through the grant. Then select from the drop-down menu the country and the local currency, and then indicate the amounts which you would like RCF to support you through the grant funding. And here are several main categories which are supported by the RCF. And as you see, this is about facilities or premises which can be subject of rehabilitation, extension, reconstruction. With each category, we also inserted the possibility to insert the local currency amount in case it's better for you to start to insert the local currency, then you can recalculate into euro amount. But as you see with the red asterisk, only the euro amount is the mandatory field. Then we have the other category, equipment, tools, machinery, which could be procured or upgraded. Here again, information and the question which we receive often, whether the enterprises and the applicants could or procure also used equipment. Yes, it is possible also to procure the used equipment if it makes sense from the application, because the equipment should be obviously lasting, not just during the cooperative training period, which is subject of the application, but also beyond that period. And teaching materials, this is either preparation of new ones or upgrade, cooperative training for coordinators, teachers, in-company trainers. And if for any reason you have some other item which you would like to describe, then you have opportunity to insert the amount for that particular item and explain in notes what do you mean by that. At the bottom of this section,
samo bih htjela da pojasnim. Pavel, if you could just scroll, because I was listening to Montenegrin translation, so just wanted to highlight. Slušajući prevod, samo sam primetila da možda nije loše da pojasni dodatno stavku D. Stavka D se odnosi na obuku, je li tako? Cooperative Training Coordinator, Teachers in Company Trainers Training. Znači imamo trening ili obuku nastavnika ili kompanijskih trenera. Dakle, ovo ne odnosi se na same nastavnike i koordinatore kooperativnog obrazovanja, nego na obuku nastavnika ili obuku trenera u kompanijama, pedagošku, metodološku, stručnu, vezano za rukovanje mašinama i opremom ili bilo kako drugu. U međuvremenu smo dobili jedno pitanje kroz chat. Da li muzički instrumenti pripadaju delu equipment ili teaching materials? So, can musical instruments be considered as equipment or teaching materials? I guess the question is either there or here. Are musical instruments equipment or teaching materials? What do we say?
I would say it's equipment.
Equipment.
Yeah, it's equipment. And if it leads to a recognized degree, I guess that's no problem with that.
Eto, čuli ste, to može biti oprema u vašem slučaju. Imamo i jednu podignutu ruku, gospodin Dragan Miranović. Sada ću uključiti gospodina Miranovića da nam postavi pitanje. Gospodine Dragane Miranoviću, evo ja vas sad pozivam da uključite mikrofon da bismo čuli vaše pitanje. Možete postaviti na lokalnom ili na engleskom, kako vam je lakše. Gospodine Miranoviću? Ne? Dobro. Izgleda da se ne čujemo. Ok. Ok, pošto ne čujemo gospodina Miranovića, predlažem da nastavimo, pa možemo kasnije ponovo da pokušamo. Ok, Pavel, let's move on. sorry, there's another question. There's a question about these trainings of teachers. Can we, as applicants, determine who will provide these trainings, as well as the type of the trainings? So who determines the training provider, I think, and the type of the training?
I'm not sure I'm completely clear about the question. So the training of the trainer, so to say.
Yeah, the training of the teachers. So yeah, shall consortia decide on who provides these trainings of teachers and coordinators, as well as the type of the training?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Part of the project proposal later on, and the consortia will have to propose that the scope of the training, and possibly as well who can do it. And then the final negotiations, in the case of a positive answer, this will be verified, cross-checked once again by us, the FMU.
Okay, and shall they enter the exact name or proposal for training providers within the expression of interest, or that comes later?
That comes later, yeah, that comes later.
Ok, nadam se da je ovo jasno. Dakle, možete opisati negde tip obuke i provajdere, ali možda ne toliko detaljno u fazi podnošenja izjave o zainteresovanosti, već kasnije u predlogu projekta, u onom full proposalu, ukoliko naravno vaše izjave o zainteresovanosti budu pozitivno ocenjene, moći ćete detaljnije da date predloge, a onda će to biti predmet pregovora. Dobro. Da li ima još nekih pitanja? No, I think we can move on.
Okay, to finalize this section, you see at the bottom of the section few more items, and these are matching contribution. As you know, at least 10% of total requested grant amount needs to be included in the project as a matching contribution by VET consortium partners. Yeah? So those who signed the memorandum of understanding and who are applying for the project. This could be provided in financial means or in-kind contributions. And regarding in-kind contributions, you can see our guidelines on website under the application package, where you can read what kind of categories could be inserted under in-kind contributions. Here we have the external partner contribution. So, I mean, that's what we discussed, that if you have any external partners which support you, again, through financial means or in kind, please comment on that over here. And the last item is the sum of the total amount which is requested from RCF, and this is the automatic calculation of the amounts which you inserted before into different categories mentioned above. The same goes for the local currency. Any questions here?
No.
Not yet. Okay. So then we move to section 8, which is supporting documentation. Here we would like you to upload few documents. The first one is Memorandum of Understanding. The template we offer on the website, where in Montenegrin site version of our website, you will find bilingual document to download, where we would like you to insert the information of individual partners of the consortium and have it signed by all parties and scan and upload here. The second item, it's about the date when the memorandum of understanding has been signed on. Then licenses. So for the vocational training institute, we would like to upload you the license issued by relevant educational authority, which basically authorize you to carry on to perform the education and training activities. For the training program or programs, we would like you to upload the accreditation document. Here, in case it's a new program and it's not yet ready, again, there is a box where you can explain about it. And here I would like to mention what we already mentioned in the info session. In case you are in the process of arranging the accreditation of the new training program, we are ready to offer 6 months period from the approval of the final application. So not the expression of interest, but in the second step, you will need to provide additional information to make the application complete with the full proposal. And from the moment when that full proposal is completed and approved, we will provide 6 months period to deliver the accreditation document. But in case you already foresee that the period is going to be longer, we would encourage you to apply in the next round, in the next call, making sure that you will be able to deliver the accreditation document on time. Then we have a letter of support. Again, the template is available to be downloaded on our website under the application package. And one comment for the privately owned VTIs, we would like letter of support to be signed by the legal representative of the VTI. And the last document, it's about the enterprise business registration. So for all the participating enterprises, the partners in that consortium would like to upload a copy of the enterprise registration, business registration, and the same goes for privately owned VTIs as they are private businesses. These are all documents which we are asking to upload. We are asking them to upload in the local version, local language version, so you don't need to translate those documents.
Eto, Pavel,
any questions here?
No questions. I just wanted to highlight what you have just said. Dakle, pismo podrške i memorandum o razumijevanju preuzimate sa našeg sajta. Memorandum o razumijevanju je već dvojezičan, crnogorski i engleski. Pismo podrške je na crnogorskom. Eto, to su jedina 2 dokumenta koja očekujemo da preuzmete sa našeg sajta, popunjavate, potpišete, da li od strane partnera u konzorcijumu ili lokalnih vlasti, i onda skenirane kopije priložite na ovaj portal. Evo, znala sam čim malo obrazložim da će stići neko pitanje. Evo i od gospođe Zoje Đurović, da li letter of support za škole daje nadležno ministarstvo i ko tačno daje letter of support za privredna lica? Hvala gospođi Đurović za ovo pitanje. Da, za škole koje su državne škole, dakle javne ustanove, adresa jeste Ministarstvo prosvete za potpis pisma podrške i tim pismom oni kažu da prepoznaju da je škola deo obrazovnog sistema i da podržavaju njene troškove redovnih operacija u smislu zarada nastavnika i tako dalje. A što se tiče privrednih lica, nije potrebno pismo podrške za svakog partnera u konzorcijumu. Pismo podrške se odnosi na čitav projekat, a kako je nosilac projekta obrazovna ustanova, onda obrazovna ustanova je ta koja zapravo traži pismo podrške, traži podršku od nadležnog organa u slučaju javnih ustanova, Ministarstvo prosvete, u slučaju privatnih obrazovnih ustanova, to je onda zakonski zastupnik koji garantuje negde da će obrazovni program koji je predmet projekta biti finansiran, odnosno će redovni troškovi biti finansirani. Eto, nadam se da smo ovo pojasnili. Pita mi gospođu Zoju, da li je ovo u redu, da li smo se sada razumeli, pa može da nam da povratnu informaciju. Da vidim samo. Ne. Onda imamo još jedno pitanje, da li su fakulteti, evo gospođa Đorđević kaže da je jasno, super, Biljana Gligorić, da li su fakulteti u sastavu univerziteta CG prihvatljivi aplikant? da li fakulteti u sastavu univerziteta mogu da apliciraju. Često smo se susretali sa ovim pitanjem. U principu generalno pravilo jeste da jedna obrazovna ustanova može da se pojavi jednom po konkursu. Međutim, kako u slučaju univerziteta imamo različite fakultete koji zapravo funkcionišu sa potpuno različitim programima i kao potpuno različite organizacije pod istim krovom univerziteta, naš odgovor tu jeste da mogu fakulteti da podnesu zasebne prijave. Samo je savjet da kad unosite ime VTI name, stavite fakultet taj i taj, crtica univerzitet. Dakle, da date punu odrednicu, ne samo univerzitet i ne samo fakultet, da bi nam onda bilo jasnije. Pavel, Frieder, would you like to add anything on the last two questions? No? Okay. Good. As I don't see any further questions, I guess we can move on. Or you want to add something? I see you unmuted.
No, just in case. No, fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's then move on to the last section, which is the section where the leading applicant VTI will be confirming by the declaration that all the information which are stated in the applications are true, complete, and accurate. And then you will see all the status of all sections completed. And at the same time, all the partnering enterprises confirm their participation through clicking this Finish Contribution button. And once that is achieved, the leading applicant will be able to see the Submit Application button and submit the application to the RCF. Once the application is submitted, the system will generate an automated acknowledgement email to confirm to you that your application has been submitted and it is registered in the system. Afterwards, you will be still able to log in to the system and view your application, but you will not be able to modify it. As you know, the deadline for the first call of expression of interest is 30th April, 30, and any applications which you will attempt to submit after the deadline will be rejected. Once your applications are submitted, there will be a group of independent evaluators who will evaluate the expression of interest applications, and they will decide which applications are going to be shortlisted, approved, and invited for the completion of the full project proposal. These applications will need to get back to the system, so they will be invited to complete the full application. It will be in the same system, just expanded with additional fields which you will need to complete. This is concluding my presentation, and I would like to also say, in case you have any issues with completing the fields or any questions regarding the content of the expression of interest application, you just write email to us, either to applications@rcf-w6.org, or also you might contact directly Jelena. Thank you very much for your attention, and Jelena.
Ja, hvala Pavel. Eto, čuli ste da je važno poštovati rok, dakle sistem neće prihvatati aplikacije nakon 30. aprila, neće biti prosto moguće podneti, tako da požurite da pošaljete pre isteka roka. Evo sad smo vidjeli kako popuniti određena polja. Imamo jedno pitanje vezano za eligibility, odnosno prihvatljivost. Da li preduzeće koje je zdravstvena ustanova može da se prijavi za projekat ulaganja u obrazovanje ukoliko se pitanje odnosi na RCF, dakle na naš program, Regionalni Challenge Fond, preduzeća bilo kog sektora mogu da se uključe u konzorcijum koji bi predvodila obrazovna ustanova. Right, 𝗓𝗏, anything to add? Private health enterprise as a partner in consortium?
Can be, yes, sure.
Okay.
If there's a training school or a vet school focusing on that.
Odlično. Da li ima još nekih pitanja vezano za deo koji smo do sada čuli? Popunjavanje prijave, informacije o preduzeću, o školi, o programu kooperativnog obrazovanja ili dualnog obrazovanja, ko se već sa čim prijavljuje. Da vidim chat. Ne. Dobro, ako nema, onda dajemo reč gospodinu Friederu Wermanu, lideru jedinice za upravljanje projektom, i on će nam predstaviti kako da uradimo obračun i kako da dođemo do onih cifara koje treba da unesemo u izjavu zainteresovanosti, a koje se odnose na našu procenu budžeta. Dakle, popunjavate formular izjave o zainteresovanosti i to je jedini formular koji vam je važan, pored pisma podrške memorandumu o razumevanju, popunjavate ga online, a ovo što će sada gospodin Werman da predstavi je naša želja da dodatno pojasnimo kako doći do onih cifara koje treba tamo da unesete. Dakle, smejemo se zato što uvek naglasimo ovo, a onda nekako uvek bude pitanje jel moramo da popunimo ovaj predlog budžeta u ovoj fazi, pa onda ponovimo nekoliko puta da nije potrebno popunjavati sad jedan Excel file koji ćete vidjeti već samo ono što je Pavel prikazao. I think I was clear enough on that, but Frieder, please move on.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Jelena. Indeed, important to mention maybe again that this is information which is not required immediately right now. I'm going to share my screen to have this visible as well for the participants. Yes, we would, so as part of this tutorial, also have a brief look at the budget template. As mentioned, it is not required right now, but we think it is useful to plan and structure the project with these details in mind and in the background. It will be required in this form or a similar form when filling the full application and the project proposal. Probably all consortiums are recommended to have a look at it early on. This template is currently as well available on the website, can be downloaded, available there. It basically has two sides, two parts. We have here on the left side is basically the planning exercise. All the positions we would like to see covered in the project proposal and how they are being forecasted by the consortium members for the next 3 years. And then on the right side, we have the funding sources. So that's basically where the money or the contributions are expected to come from. And I will briefly run you through these two parts separately and explain the main positions here. And then you may have some additional questions as well. So the planning exercise consists or contains the three main areas of the project proposal. These are the investments in the first place, mentioned already before. Can be equipment, machinery, building of construction of buildings, reconstruction, classroom adaptation, everything related to the implementation of a given training course, and usually taking place at the VTIs. The third element is the preparatory activities for the cooperative training program. Here we have the training of the teachers, mentioned already earlier, the training of the in-company trainers, development of teaching material, and if necessary as well, some advisory services, either with regard to the technical questions related to the new equipment, or as well with regard to structuring and how to structure a cooperative training course adequately. And then we have here as well the salaries of the in-company trainers, and here should as well be the school teachers and eventually the program coordinators taking care of the cooperative training approach. And then last but not least, at least for the sustainability of the project, we would like to have a rough overview of the operational costs. These are OHS expenses, so occupational health and security, transport if it applies of trainees from and to the companies mainly, insurance and allowances for the learners, the trainees, the utilities, and maintenance and equipment of the installed machinery, if applicable. Currently, we foresee to have this plan in 4 phases. So we have the project implementation phase here. That is basically the preparatory phase when equipment is being installed, procured first and being installed, when reconstructions or adaptations of premises takes place. So we would assume that most of the investments will enter into this phase. And then, of course, there's some of the preparatory activities like this training of trainers or in-company trainers. And then we would like to see a plan for the entire project over a period of 3 years. That is running the training course, and typically here will be most of the operational costs required in order to get a good idea of how consortium is planning to finance that, and also whether it's able and realistic to do so. I think, I move over to the funding sources. So again, we have the same categories here on the left side, and then the matching contribution is one of the elements required. And then we have added here the co-financing, which may come in, but it's not a requirement. Typically, it could be from international partners, international donors, maybe municipalities, maybe the ministries are contributors. So up for anything basically. And then last but not least, we have the on the last column the RCF financing component. The matching contribution, as mentioned before, is expected to be 10%, at least 10% of the grant funding, not of the entire project budget. If, for example, there's a significant co-funding contribution, the matching contribution will still be calculated as 10% of the requested grant funding. Here are a couple of areas which are in gray. That means that they are not eligible for financing under the RCF. This mainly relates to the salaries of the in-company trainers and teachers and the program coordinators, as well as certain operating expenses like transport, insurance and allowances, and utilities. These are typically the positions that would enter into the matching contribution, so can be entered there as they're covered by the consortia members, and should as well be calculated over a period of 3 years in order to match the budget planning on the other side. I think the co-financing contribution can as well be in kind and in cash. Again, this is very much depending on the options a certain consortium has. As mentioned before, it is not required. The matching contribution can as well be in cash if a school or a partnering company is able and willing to do so. So relatively open, as Pavel mentioned, the principles and as well detailed advice for how to calculate it is included in the headline that is available on the website. I think I'll leave it here, Jelena, and rather take, as usual, some concrete questions from participants if there are. Thank you for your attention.
Hvala Frideru. Evo mogli ste da vidite ovde koji su sve to troškovi koje možete predvideti kada planirate budžet, kada procenjujete koji su to troškovi prihvatljivi, koji nisu. Možda samo da pojasnimo u startu, tu uvek nekako sa prevodom. U engleskom ima mnogo više reči za building, construction, rehabilitation, renovation, adaptation, a mi nekako prevedemo izgradnja, pa se onda stekne utisak da može da se finansira izgradnja potpuno nove zgrade, potpuno novog objekta, što nije ideja. Ideja je negde da se adaptira određeni prostor, da se dogradi, da se nadogradi, obnovi, ali da svi ti infrastrukturni radovi imaju direktne veze sa programom kooperativne obuke sa kojim se aplicira za podršku fonda. Eto, samo to da pojasnim. Videli ste i budžetske stavke. Ja sam i uz chat pisala ono označeno sivo, to ne može biti podržano od strane fonda, i poslali smo vam i jedan link za vodič koji negde detaljnije obrazlaže kako obračunati ovo finansijsko učešće. Ako su to plate nastavnika, kako ih onda obračunati, bruto iznosi na mesečnom nivou za one nastavnike koji su uključeni u sprovođenje programa kooperativnog obrazovanja u onom procentu radnog vremena koji je opredeljeno za program kooperativnog obrazovanja sa kojima aplicirate za podršku fonda. Eto, ja sam tu podvukla nešto što sam i primetila da su najčešće pitanja koje dobijamo mailom, ali evo sada ostavila bih prostora za učesnike. Imamo još nekih 15 minuta. Možete postaviti pitanja, da li vezano za budžet, obračun određenih stavki, da li vezano za sam aplikacioni formular koji ste imali prilike da vidite. Eto, iskoristite priliku. Imamo jednu ruku podignutu, gospođa Dragana Šćepanović. Gospođa Šćepanović, izvolite. Evo, sad je potrebno da uključite svoj mikrofon. Sada mislim da možemo da vas čujemo. Izvolite.
Dobar dan, ja sam 𝗧𝗵𝗲 magistar fizioterapije i profesor u stručnoj medicinskoj školi u Podgorici. Ja mislim, htjela bih samo da iznesem kratko jedan svoj stav, a nakon toga ću postaviti pitanje. Mislim da naša škola može napraviti veoma uspješan i sjajan konzorcijum sa kliničkim centrom i domom zdravlja. Mi smo i do sada imali uspješnu saradnju sa kliničkim centrom, ali sam htjela da postavim pitanje nakon što naša škola pošalje zvaničan dopis kliničkom centru, nakon što se obratimo i zvanično, da li će Ministarstvo prosvjete koordinirati sa Ministarstvom zdravlja u kontekstu da što prije i efikasnije radimo na realizaciji ovog konzorcijuma. I interesuje me da li u pisanoj formi, dakle kao rješenje ili odluka, mogu dobiti napismeno da sam zainteresovana za ovaj projekat, da sam uključena u projekat i naravno smatram da sam kompetentna u potpunosti i spremna da radim na ovom projektu. Hvala vam.
Izvinite, samo ovo posljednje pitanje, ja nisam sigurna da sam ga razumela. Dakle, ovo prvo mi je jasno, pitate da li će Ministarstvo obrazovanja i Ministarstvo zdravlja biti u koordinaciji u slučaju da vi želite da u konzorcijumu bude klinički centar. To mi je jasno kao pitanje, odgovorit ćemo vam. A možda da idemo redom. Možemo to prvo, pa onda da nam pojasnite ovo drugo. Vam to odgovara, da ostanete tu još kratko. Frieder, anything from your side to say on this? Sad pitam kolegu Friedera, da li on želi nešto kaže što se tiče ove interministarske saradnje, kakav je stav fonda po tom pitanju?
Yeah, well, we are mainly interested in the educational part of it, so that is our formal requirement. And we would somehow assume, that the training in this specific area is reflecting the requirements of the Ministry of Health as well. So we don't have any formal requirements for this, as long as the training course is approved or accredited by the Ministry of Education, we would be fine with it. But of course, it's a sign of quality if there is a cooperation between the ministries to ensure that the offer training is really in line with what either clinics or other practices, medical practices require.
Eto. Da li vam je bio jasan odgovor? Gospođo Šćepanović?
Ja sam Ljilja Raičević.
Ljilja Raičević, izvinite, piše ovde je Dragana Šćepanović, pa ja to i čitam. Evo, možemo i da vas...
Hvala vam na ovom odgovoru i htjela sam još samo da pitam da li ću imati priliku da dobijem u formi rješenja ili odluke to da učestvujem u ovom projektu. Eto, u tom kontekstu sam htjela da pitam.
Aha, da li će biti izdato neko formalno rješenje. Mi imamo dvofazni proces selekcije. Prvo se podnose izjave o zainteresovanosti, kao što je sada kolega Pavel predstavio, i oni koji budu uspješni biće pozvani da podnesu i pun predlog projekta, odnosno celokupan predlog projekta, sa nešto detaljnijim informacijama. Nakon toga se šalje izveštaj o odobrenju, tako da to će biti i potvrda da li je projekat prihvaćen, nakon čega se stupa u potpisivanje ugovora o dodeli bespovratnih sredstava, odnosno pregovori pa potpisivanje ugovora. Tako da, eto, ne znam da li to odgovara na vaše pitanje i da li možda moje kolege žele nešto da dodaju. Anything to add on this?
Hvala vam na odgovoru.
Hvala vama na pitanju. Da li imamo još neko pitanje? Aha, evo jedno pitanje vezano za budžet. U budžetu koja je razlika između kolona Planning and Implementation i kolone Total na kraju? Frieder, I guess this goes to you. What's the difference between Planning and Implementation and Total?
Yes, the planning, so that is, these are the phases that we foresee right now. So planning and implementation includes basically everything from the signing of the funding agreement to starting a given training course. Yeah, so basically the implementation of equipment or the purchase of equipment would fall under this, and the reconstruction, rehabilitation, adaptation of the premises and the training and teaching material, and the total is then the total of this phase plus the 3 years planning horizon that are stated as well in the
Okay, I'm trying to type to type the answer in chat so that it's visible. Eto, gospođa Ferida, nadam se da smo pojasnili. Ako treba još neko dodatno pojašnjenje, tu smo. Da li imamo još nekih pitanja vezano za regionalni challenge fond i proceduru prijavljivanja, podnošenja izjave zainteresovanosti? Naravno, tu smo uvek e-mailom, kao što je Pavel već ponovio, applications@rcf-𝗵𝗲𝗡 ili info@rcf-𝗵𝗲𝗡. Ali eto, ako želite da iskoristite priliku da postavite direktno pitanje, tu smo. Ne, dobro. Ništa, ako nema više pitanja niti komentara, ja bih vam se onda zahvalila na pažnji, na vremenu koje ste danas izdvojili. Dobit ćete nakon ovog događaja follow-up e-mail sa naše info adrese, gde ćete dobiti link ka snimku ukoliko želite da se podsjetite i da preslušate ponovo, zatim tu će biti neki korisni linkovi. Ja vidim da nam je stiglo jedno pitanje u posljednjem trenutku, pa evo predlažem da ga čujemo, pošto se još nismo potpuno odjavili. Da li postoje neka ograničenja po pitanju procenata podele finansijskih sredstava između partnera? Dobro, ovo je odlično pitanje. Daje nam priliku da možda pojasnimo ko može biti korisnik RCF budžeta. Frieder, did you manage to understand this question? It was about limitation in terms of percentages divided among partners.
No, not really, no. So with the for the matching contribution, the full 10% can come from only one partner. So we're not specific in that, be it the school or the companies. The only limit we have are the 10% of the matching contribution with regard to the RCF funding. All the rest is up to the consortium to propose whatever makes more sense. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Dakle, mi smo vaše pitanje, gospođo Đurović, razumeli kao da se odnosi na procenat od ovih 10% koliko koji partner treba da obezbedi i gospodin Verman vam je odgovorio da tu zavisi od dogovora na nivou konzorcijuma, a što se tiče ostalih budžetskih sredstava, očekuje se naravno da se investicije ulaganja prevashodno usmere ka obrazovnim ustanovama kada su u pitanju infrastrukturni radovi i nabavka opreme. Ja vas pozivam svakako da vezano za ovaj deo finansijskog učešća pogledate i vodič koji smo poslali kroz chat i tu isto možete doći i do ideja šta sve da obračunate kao finansijsko učešće i kako da tih minimalnih 10% prikažete. Ako nema daljih pitanja, ili ima, evo zastaću na sekund, vidim možda neko nešto kuca, da ne bude da opet krenem u odjavljivanje, a onda nešto stigne.
I don't think so.
Da, nema. Ako imate neko pitanje u posljednju minutu, najlakše vam je da podignete ruku. Ovako dok iskucate, dok kliknete send, odosmo mi već dalje u ovu našu turu po Zapadnom Balkanu. Svaki dan u drugoj ekonomiji se javljamo i objašnjavamo. Dobro, onda ja ću nastaviti sa odjavom. Očekujete follow-up mail. Pogledajte linkove koje ćete dobiti uz taj mail i naravno ako bude bilo kakvih dodatnih pitanja, javite nam se. Pored toga samo želimo vam puno sreće sa podnošenjem izjava zainteresovanosti i naravno tu smo za svaku podršku. Frieder, Pavel, hvala vam na prezentacijama i hvala što ste neumorni. Njih dvojica zaista svakog dana ove nedelje su imali prezentaciju u nekoj zemlji. Hvala našim prevodiocima, Ani i Maj, tehničkoj podršci i svima vama koji ste ostali do kraja webinara i nadam se da ostajemo u kontaktu i da ćemo uspešno sarađivati u nastavku programa. Pozdravljam vas i prijatan vikend.